Hey everybody, this is Andrea Jenson from the Cash Flow CFO, and you're listening to the Cash Flow CFO Podcast, the show that explores the financial side of running a business for people who want to maximize profitability and scale with confidence. If you want to make smart financial decisions based on data and put more of your hard-earned profits into your pocket, this is the podcast for you. This episode of the Cash Flow CFO podcast is brought to you by the Cash Flow CFO. Did you know that on average, business owners have up to 84% of their personal net worth tied up in their business? Our virtual CPAs and CFOs, as well as accounting and bookkeeping experts, empower business owners just like you to make big leaps that help them maximize profitability and scale with confidence. Visit thecashflowcfo.com for more information, and thank you for listening. Hey everyone, it's Andrea, and our guest for today is Alana Wise. Alana is the founder and CEO of Biological, a consulting firm dedicated to providing authorized biologists and full-service consulting for wildlife and plant resources on construction projects, keeping them in compliance and on schedule. Alana has been named one of Vegas's Inc. 40 Under 40 and serves as a commissioner on the Nevada Board of Wildlife Commissioners, where she's been able to utilize her unique knowledge and skills to inform on policy decisions involving conservation and wildlife management. Alana is also a founding member of Desert Innovation Research and Technology, a nonprofit which strives to illuminate the wide variety of opportunities and trades available to young individuals, providing insights into the education and expectations of professional jobs and careers. When Alana is not working or doing all of those other amazing things, she also enjoys travel, science fiction, and fantasy, and can occasionally be found at a board gaming event, such as the World Series of Board Games, where last year she made it to the semifinals in an outer ring event. We will definitely be digging into that, Alana. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on because you're also a client of ours, and I have had front row seat to all the amazing growth and scaling your business that you've accomplished over the last, just 3 years. You know, if you just looked at that time period, it's huge gains that you've been able to implement into the business. And so we'll definitely talk about that, but I'd love to find out a little bit more. How did you get started in this particular industry? What attracted you to it?
I think that for a lot of people, this industry kind of comes at them like it's a surprise. You don't expect or know that it's even a thing until you meet somebody who's doing it or accidentally get involved in it. And it was the same for me. I thought I had grand plans, and then I suddenly discovered that there was this world where you could go outside and look for endangered species and provide reports and information that were going to support projects and growth and still protect these things that were out there. And it was never something I knew existed. So once I stumbled upon it, there wasn't really any going back. I stuck with it. And now it's been 15 years that I've been in this industry in some capacity.
Very cool. So are you more of an animal lover initially, or is it something that you studied to be in this field and then, kind of happened upon this?
Yeah, a little bit of both. I am an animal lover, but I studied biology in college. My intentions weren't originally to work with wildlife, though I had dabbled in the idea of veterinary medicine. But working outdoors with wildlife was just so appealing when I had that opportunity. So I've had the opportunity to work with desert tortoises and desert kit foxes, as well as a variety of other lizards and snakes and plants. And it's just a really unique experience that I'm excited that I was able to get. And you can't really go back after you've been outside, working in the desert.
Yeah. And you've built a successful, thriving business around it, which is awesome that you've taken here's something I'm passionate about and I have the skill set for. And now it is your livelihood, right? For your employees, your family. And, just so many good things happen from having a successful, stable, financially stable business. So congrats on that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Awesome. So I want to also talk about the board game. So you've got, and I think that that's so cool because I love that you're like, yep, this is my professional. I get all this stuff done. And then here's the fun stuff that I'm able to layer in and do as well. So tell us a little bit about that one.
Yeah, absolutely. I really love board gaming as a hobby. I have friends and family that do it too. It's kind of what we get together and do. And more recently, they've started opening up competitions and things, which I never thought myself to be that competitive of a board gamer. But, you miss all the things you don't try for, right? So caught myself attending some practice events and just some different conventions. You get to try new games, play with new people. And so I found myself to the World Series of Board Gaming last year. It was the first time I did it. So they had some primary events where you could play various games and you had to play multiple rounds of that game and win to get to the final. Didn't get very far there, but they had these smaller side events that allowed you to explore other games that weren't a part of the primary event and play for different developers. And I got into one of those and made it to the semifinals. So it's a really enjoyable thing for me, playing games, and it's a nice way to relax and still a great way to use my problem solving skills that I seem to just want to use in every activity.
Yeah, I love that. That's actually a perfect segue into some of the problems that you solved in your business as you were creating that foundational component to be able to scale it. So what would you say, looking back, were some of the biggest problems that you had to solve in order to take a consulting service to a point that it's scalable, it's team managed, and you're able to go play board games and have, some free time to be with your husband and kid and all that other good stuff that comes along with it?
Yeah, absolutely. There have been a lot of challenges. Before starting this business, I worked independently. A lot of biologists work in the independent market with their certifications. They can move from project to project, but I saw some gaps. And so my husband and I really wanted to move forward with having a more established company. Some of these larger projects just really require more oversight and a more consistent set of personnel and a good team. And we knew we could provide that. So it was tough to get started because there is long lead time in the construction industry. You only want to work with people that you know and trust. And when you're getting started and have those lead times, funding becomes an issue. So we were small for several years. We started in 2015, and in 2020 we won a SBA award, Micro Enterprise of the Year. And I bring that up because a micro enterprise is a firm that has less than 5 people. So in those years, we had only grown that much. We utilized a lot of contractors still, and that helped us maintain low overhead while still providing for bigger projects. But we were just starting to develop a team. But between 2020 and 2023, we have grown to 14 employees, which then created its own set of unique challenges, including how do I manage all of these people on a day-to-day basis? How do I get across the ideas of the things that I was keeping track of? Now multiple people have to keep track of them. We had, people coming in that needed training. We started developing our office staff from people who weren't really necessarily familiar with the industry. And so the challenges that stem from that, kind of grew exponentially. Thankfully, we've continued to grow each and every year. So as our revenues rise, so have our challenges, but they've kind of just kept in step.
Mm-hmm. And I know one of the big solutions that you implemented was a new software system that tracked all kinds of metrics in the business. And I remember you going through the implementation stage on that and wanting to pull your hair out because it was such a robust system, right? It tracks all kinds of stuff for you, and it's got all this amazing capabilities. But within that came its own set of challenges to implement it and to get everybody on board to use it, right? What do you remember about that, and what were some of the wins there, or things looking back you could share with any other consulting services looking to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. It was software implementation was a game changer, but I don't want to say that it was easy or quick because it was neither. You really have to find out what's going to work for your team and for your type of business. We actually tried to invest in software prior to to what we're using now, and it failed. It didn't do what we needed it to do. We managed to find a company that had customizable software that allowed us to kind of work with them and their developers to create something that would function in our industry. I mean, we do fall into a niche. And so I think a lot of times small businesses that might be niche have a harder time finding tools that they can use. So when we implemented the software, it was a little tough because we had so many things going on all at once, right? We had new people coming on. We were like, hey, welcome to us and this new software that we don't even know how to use yet. We had teams kind of developing what was going to happen behind the scenes. And trying to still continue to run our day-to-day operations. It was a huge shift. And I would be lying if I said that we were 100% there even now. I think it was that first 6 months to a year that we really took us to get started and get implemented. And even still, we find little things where we're like, oh, we're not fully utilizing the system. So it's a long road. It's a long road and it's tough, but the bright side of all of that, and the reason that it was worth it, is because it's changed how we do business. It has allowed us to get out of paper tracking and Excel or hand managing invoices. What the software is itself is more of a project management system, and it allows us to import all information about our projects. We can manage them. We have, the ability to track contacts and invoices and hours worked, which projects are active, which ones aren't. There are so many things that go into managing a project that when you're doing it by yourself, it's easy to kind of wrap your head around. But when you need to share those concepts with a team, it's absolutely critical that you all have a place to go to gather that information.
Start scaling with confidence today. The Cash Flow CFO is a full-service accounting and fractional CFO firm. So it goes without saying that our financial experts are phenomenal at number crunching. But more than that, they are expert communicators who will connect all those complicated financial dots in a way that just makes sense. We don't wait in the wings and check in every so often either. With our boutique approach, we position ourselves front and center, watching over every dollar that comes in and out of your business as if it was our own. So if your business is making money and you're ready to take it to the next level, but you're not sure you completely understand your numbers, and you're looking for that trusted guide to help you build a roadmap to reach your financial goals, it sounds like we would be a great fit. Visit thecashflowcfo.com and let's get started empowering you to build and scale your business the way you want to today.
Yeah. And a uniform, right? All the information, the quality of it going in directly affects the quality of the information you have coming out. And if you're running your business based off of data and metrics, you've got to make sure that everybody's using uniform key performance indicators and all the components of that. And I think what I love best about what we've seen you do with your business is you've implemented this software that has allowed you to really, really like hone in on, am I bidding these jobs correctly? Am I coming in on budget or under budget? Or learning from, how did I bid this incorrectly? So next time I bid it, better. And it's really helped improve your profit margins and just all the way around simplified, right? Every time we talk about scaling a business, I talk about simplicity. The more complex your business model is and the tools that you're asking your team to use, that's going to inhibit the ability to scale and grow, your business. So, it was an investment in time, in energy, in money, but look what it's enabled your business to do. Just tremendous growth.
Absolutely. And I think that is a real testament to the effort that we put in now. Instead of bidding a project and not being sure or having to compare paper notes, what you did before compared to the size and this and that, you have all that data at your fingertips, the reports you can pull, you can track your utilization. There are just so many metrics that we now have access to that allow us to instantly see where we have leaks or holes or other things that might drag us down. And that feeds directly into our financials as well. It's easier to track our margins. It's easier to track our invoicing. It's easier to see all of these things and lay out all of these pieces so that everyone on the team knows at all times where we can improve, what we should do on this project because we had this other similar one that happened before. All of those things have been just game changing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And as your CFO team, right, your accounting back office and your CFO team, it's just opened up a wealth of data and different data points for us to be able to present to you and show you different things that you wouldn't have been able to see about your business model, about the projects that you're taking on without having this. So I think all the way around, it's great. And I think too, what I really want to commend you on is a lot of business owners look at the expense of implementing something like this. And in their head, they're just thinking it's an expense. But I think from your perspective, you were like, no, this is an investment into, the growth of the company and the speed and ability for us to take on new projects and bigger projects and, grow the team and things like that. What would you say comparing an expense to an investment as a business owner that you've learned along the way?
Absolutely. It's tough sometimes. You see something and you see a price tag and you see the time that it's going to take to put it into place, and it's discouraging. It really is. We make that decision on other things, on a regular basis as well, and it can be tough. But there comes a point where systems and processes that can help you record and track and follow up allow you the freedom to be able to go after more work, bigger jobs, without the tedium that comes with having to manage that all in your head or yourself, or having to have extra meetings or, correspondence because you don't recall who talked to who when, or, what could possibly be going on this site. It truly is a wonderful investment when you think about how you can move from $500,000 in sales to $1.2 million in sales to $2.7 million in sales. Like, the amount of growth that you can have when you have eliminated all of these small things that are holding you back is exponential.
Yeah. Yeah. When you look at the return on investment, right? The ROI
Mm-hmm.
on these decisions that business owners are faced with every day, those are the types of things that like, yes, I'm going to invest this dollar amount into this software or hire this team or do a new marketing strategy or lead gen. And it's hard sometimes to quantify that ROI up front. Right. But those are, like you said, those are the game changers, these investments into systems, people, sales, things like that. Sometimes you can't quantify it up front. And you just have to have that here's how I'm going to see this through this investment. And, and it usually will if you implement it and you stay, and there's probably times when you had the software, you're like, I'm throwing this away. Forget this. I don't want to do this anymore, but you stuck with it and it really paid off in the end. So super cool. And, you got to go through it to get to the other side. And, that's with scaling a business, that's part of the process for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you're growth minded, you want to get as much off your plate as possible, right? The reason I can go to a board gaming competition is because, I have a great team and great system supporting me at this point. And that's what you really want, right? You want a successful business that's going to allow you the freedoms to live life. You don't want to be burdened by your business so much that you're holding yourself back, whether it's in your personal life or even in your business growth.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. 100%. And I know I could talk business all day long, but I'd love to hear a little bit more about the boards that you sit on, the policy that you are seeing, and how do you see the future of the impact, the environmental impact, right? That you're working on a lot of construction projects, right? As running those tests and the analysis on the effects, right? So what are you seeing for all the animal lovers at heart that makes you hopeful and happy about where we're heading with as we just keep expanding, right? We need more housing, we need more roads to all the things that go along with that.
Absolutely. Infrastructure is not going away. And I think that's an important thing that we have to realize up front. We can't stop development. We use more and more data, more and more energy every day. And in order to facilitate that, there has to be improvements to the grid. We need roads, we need, potentially high-speed rails or other things that are going to eliminate gas vehicles on roads. There are a lot of improvements we can make, but they come with a cost. And so what we can do, both in our business, working with construction sites, also like setting policy on the commission and thinking about those types of things, is make the best path forward we can, be as responsible as we can, and then make decisions that allow for the development that is needed, that still protects the resources that are so dear. So, some of the things that we look at in dealing with policy on the commission revolve around, there's a lot revolving around hunting. There's also a lot revolving around construction and development, big game management. All of those things are in place in order to maintain appropriate levels of populations of species throughout the state. We're in Nevada. And so those are all of those things, the rare plants and weeds and game and endangered species. There's a critical balance that has to be maintained. And the wildlife agencies are constantly weighing those scales and trying to figure out where we can develop, where we should develop, where we shouldn't. And what I do professionally really feeds into that. A lot of the surveys and things we do provide the information for what species are on a site, how detrimental it might be to that species if we build in a particular area, so that we can make best management decisions about resiting projects or mitigating in some way that prevents development in another area, so that we can still have the improvements that we need without compromising the species that we're trying to protect. It's a line you have to be able to walk in order to move forward and continue to have progress.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why we're so thankful we have companies like you that do that amazing work for, to protect those species and to do the right thing to, yes, we want to have progress. We want to have growth, but we also want to do it in a responsible, sustainable way. And
absolutely.
So, and I love that doing that has allowed you to create a thriving business. And, that's the win-win. And I just think that that's amazing. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing some of your wisdom. And, looking back, it's always great to share for somebody who's thinking of, hey, I want to scale my consulting business, and how do I do that? What are the steps that I need to take? And so there you have it. Those are some very actionable, and I love that we talked about the mindset of it too, right? Because that's a huge piece of running a business, and just trying to keep that winning spirit and not get frustrated with all the things that we have to do. So thank you. And if anybody would like to find out some more information about the services your company provides, could you give us your website, please?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find us at getbiological.com. That's GETBIOLOGICAL.
All right. Awesome. Go check them out, guys. And thank you so much for your time today. It's been a great conversation, and I really thank you for your time and expertise.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and review, and we'll catch you on the next episode. If you're looking for more content or resources in the meantime, check out our website for information, blogs, and our I've Got a Spreadsheet for That series. That's thecashflowcfo.com. Again, thecashflowcfo.com. We can't wait to hear from you.